Hello, Ram Bashar here. So we are together with another "Don't waste your currency" sort of video. So if you are utilizing Sigil of Power, right? At some point you build your character up, and finally you wanna get yourself, a proper staff, right? A level 20 staff with a staff that grants a level 20 Sigil of Power alongside with +6 spell levels and whatnot, right? So yeah, I'm here to tell you, don't go for a +6, go for a +5, right? I made that mistake, and generally that's how I do my videos. I make a mistake, or I almost make a mistake, then I'm like, okay, the guys could do that mistake, and let me save them some currency. So what am I talking about? So guys, I have shown you this site before. Let me find it. There could be some background noise. I'm sorry. The daughter's cousin is here. They are causing quite a lot of ruckus. Let me find the thing now. Sigil of Power. Okay. So guys, let's take a look at Sigil of Power. So this site is beautiful. If you want to look stuff up. So let's take a look at this, guys. So this is the Sigil of Power's level, right? And this is the type of bonus that it provides. And as you can see, this is the thing that's important. Buff grants 10% spell damage per stage, and that goes up, right? And as you can see, at level 33, it does give us 18% spell damage. And from that point on, all the way up to level 37, everything stays the same. The bonus stays the same, but only the duration increase. And as you can see, the duration increase is not really very tangible, right? It goes from 13.2 seconds to 13.5 seconds, 5 seconds. So a case could be made for, not really getting these levels, right? So if you have 33, or, depending on your gear and situation, if you have 29 or 25, right? These are all sufficient. So what I mean is 25, 26, 27, and 28 are essentially the same. Same goes for the interval of 29 to 32, 33 to 37, and I don't think this is very achievable anyway. So what am I talking about here, guys? So the thing is, guys, obviously this will vary on your build, vary based on your build, but so let's say we have the 20 from the staff. So the 20 is somewhat important because it gives us the fifth socket. You can even let that one go because the fifth socket is not really very important. You use it for second wind, which gives the skill a second charge. And generally, you just do the second wind, and then the orb of storms maybe, and then nuke. Obviously will vary on your build, but generally you do not need a second one, right? So as you can see, I have a beautiful, that is wrong, let me do it again. I have a beautiful 33 exactly at the right level, but my problem is I did it wrong, right? So I wasted about 65 divine, right? This is what this video is about, right? I am trying to prevent you guys from wasting 65 divine like I did. So what am I talking about? So if you are hell-bent on getting the +20, go for a +20, right? But don't go for a +6, but +5 instead. Why? If you grab a +5, right, that's gonna be pretty cheap. And what you can do is you can put a +1 all skill levels socket in there. And because we are not able to socket multiple of these this season, they are dirt cheap, right? They are like quarter of a divine or something, dirt cheap. So I'm going to assume that is zero cost, right? Because it's going to pale in comparison of what the staff costs. And the problem is what I have here cost about 70. Take a look at the difference, guys. So I paid 70 for this, right? It's actually even worse. It's not even 70. The +6 ones are 70. If you want cast speed, it actually gets more expensive. And you can do some sort of trick around that, right? So you can use an essence to give the cast speed. But, even the cast speed is not really very important. Why? Because let's say, guys, the boss is going to spawn here, right? I know where the boss is going to spawn. So I do it beforehand. And my cast speed doesn't really matter because I don't need to do it mid-combat, right? Very rarely you might do that. So then it might make a difference. But otherwise, it just doesn't make a difference. So what I'm saying is get yourself a +20 if you want to get a +20. get yourself a +5, right? And then put a +1 level instead, right? Because the +6 only makes a difference if you will be 1 away from the breakpoint, right? If you are not going to be 1 away from the breakpoint, right? Which means, so it's going to make a difference if you are hitting 32 instead of 33 with the +5, right? If you are hitting 33, then it doesn't really matter. So for me, it doesn't matter, right? I could have gotten a +20 level Sigil of Power implicit, +5, and I could have put a +1 socket in, and I would have achieved the same result, right? So why is mine 33? Because I have 20 from Sigil of Power, +6 from the staff, right? +4 from the vertex, and +3 from the amulet. That adds up to 33, right? Perfectly. So what I could have done to save currency is I could have gotten myself a 20 +5 with a +1 socket inside, and then vertex plus the amulet would get me to 33, right? And as I said, these cost about 70, 80 divine, right? Without the cast speed on them. And +20 +5 ones cost about like 3 to 5 divine or something. So the difference is huge, right? That's why I'm doing the video, right? I mean, if it was going to save like 1 divine, yeah, I mean, no big deal, right? But when it saves more than 50 divine, I think that is worth mentioning. And that's why I did mention it. So obviously this is going to vary based on your character. If you have the vertex, if you have the +3 amulet, if you don't have those, then let's take a look again. So let's just say you don't have any additional levels, right? So let's take a look at that. Let's do so. Okay. So 20 Sigil of Power, we get a +5 staff. That's enough. You don't even need to do the +1 in it, right? Because 25, 26, and 27 are essentially the same. Because let's say we got a 20, right? Level 20 Sigil of Power from the staff, right? We have +5 all skills, and that's sufficient, right? If I put the +1 rune in, if I buy a +6 skills, I will still arrive at 27, which is not going to do anything, right? So that's about that. You will just be happy where you are. But let's say you have a +3 amulet, but not the vertex. So 23 will be our starting point, and we will get a, let's say, a +5 staff. That's 28, and then put a +1 all spell skill levels. We arrive at 27. Perfect. We don't need a +20 +6 one, right? And with the vertex, it's not going to change, but the vertex is going to give us +4 skill levels instead of the +3, and we will just save the rune. So guys, unless you have a very special build that gets some odd amount of spell skills from somewhere, if you use the vertex, if you use the amulet, if you use the vertex and the amulet, you never should buy yourself a +20 +6 chiming staff for the Sigil of Power, right? +20 +5 is always enough. Yeah. I mean, if you are 1 away from the breakpoint, you just put the +1 all spell skill levels in, and as I said, that will save you quite some currency. The +20 +6 ones are, as I said, around 70. +20 +6 with cast speed ones are around 300. Yeah. And +20 +5 with cast speed is like 6 divine. Take a look at the difference, right? And the thing is, what you will be getting from that one level that you paid like an additional almost 300 divine for, you are going to get a 0.1 second duration. And the thing is, guys, the builds these days are so strong. You know, the Sigil of Power never times out, right? You just put it in, and before it times out, the guy is dead anyway. So the duration is, I would say, entirely irrelevant. Yeah. So that's about it, guys. I hope this finds some people that are actually going to do this and save the divines. That will give me some satisfaction because I did waste mine. So, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye-bye.